Mythgard has an awesome replay feature that I feel like I am not using to its full extent, and I feel like a lot of other players may not be doing so as well. Being able to go back and review your games and watching games against your opponents with the ability to pause and fast forward and go back and reviewing plays and stopping and pausing is a great way to analyze your plays, analyze your games, and see if there may have been some mistakes that you've made, may have been some lines that you missed previously, or overall just trying to get a bit of a learning experience, the full learning experience out of either a win or a loss that you may had. See if there may have been a way that you could have won the game if you had lost previously. But we're going to do a bit of a two birds with one stone here. We're going to be showing off the replay feature and how you can use it to review some of your games and what are the kind of things that you can look at. And we're also going to show off the Volition yellow-green necromantic deck that we had in our last video. So this is a game that I actually had. It was a few days ago now. I wanted to really reflect on this game. I don't remember at all what happened in this game. So I wanted to really just go back a few days later and take a look with a real fresh look at the entire game. So Tech is playing a red-based rush, Rainbow's End enchantment aggressive deck. I don't know this going into this, of course. I don't actually see all of his cards, of course, throughout the game. So we're going to take a look through the game, and we're going to show off the deck, and we're going to show off the replay feature here. So my opening hand has a lot of yellow cards that we'll see right off the bat. And we have our hero power at 0 because we are on the draw. This is a great way to get the first big fatty, such as Sapo, into our discard pile here. We don't even have a way to be able to play the grinning kolobok, even if we wanted to, since we don't have a green card to play. So very likely here we're going to discard this Sapo into the discard pile for a potential play with a necromantic in the future, and we're just going to get the maze down. So I decided that I wanted to put the maze in the middle lane instead of putting this against this Orpheum of Horrors, since it would just soak up some damage. We're at 26. We don't really have to stop everything that Tech is doing right now. We can take some damage, and I would much rather him either go away from this Orpheum of Horrors and start attacking my guy, or I would rather actually just draw the cards, to be honest. What Tech is probably going to do is continue to play in this Orpheum of Horrors and ignore this maze, and I would rather continue to try to draw the cards from this because my hand isn't super great right now, so I need to try to find some cards to draw as opposed to contesting this lane early. So we see that he is blue. And he does go ahead, gets down. Okay, so we drew the grinning kolobok, and our card that we draw as well is chort stag. So we're pretty far away from this chort stag happening, but we do have some green cards now that we can start playing with. We could potentially get down some koloboks here. So instead, we're going to actually use our hero power. So actually, let me go back, and I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to go back and let's kind of think about that last turn there. So if I were to, there's no way I could play 2 grinning koloboks, and even if I just played him over here to chump block, there wasn't really too much going on. Looks like foul harvest not really an option. So these koloboks are kind of not really doing anything. And again, just I need to find some action. So I decided to use my power to use the other side of the disc, which there was a divination 2 there, and I decided to draw this Born Again, which is a pretty important card for the matchup. So Tech is deciding to go into 1 and into 7. So here we have, actually, let's just go ahead and let's see what happens. So we use our ability again to smite, and we're going to discard the Born Again. So here is the engine that we talked about in the video. So when you use your smite to be able to use the discard portion of the disc here, come on disc, where are you? It says to discard a card and all minions have Slayer 1 until night. So when we discard this Born Again before the end of our turn, so just any time during it, it will return to our hand from the Boneyard. So we kind of just get a free discard essentially out of it. So now since we have Slayer 1 on the Grinning Kolobok from being on the day side, and you can see that we are day down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Now this kolobok has Slayer 1, which means that we can actually take on this guy 1v1 and can get this trade to happen, and there's nothing in the way of this Daring Trapezist for it to die with the Orpheum of Horrors, so we're going to hopefully make this trade here. And actually, Cruel Tech decides to go, and he uses, so let's make a note here. So, Cruel Tech decides to use the Wings of Abaddon since it has Overrun, so he can actually just get 3 damage and get this guy out of the way no matter what. And going to attack through. So we're down to 7. And the thing is now, so Cruel Tech has nothing other than these 2 guys in play, and we've got Homeboy here in the middle. So at this point of the game, I've realized I kind of need to just stop what it is that Cruel Tech is doing. We need to slow things down, and we need to start to catch back up here. Drawing the Necromantic for turn is awesome. We actually get to make a really awesome play here where the Necromantic is going to come down, and we're going to use the Foul Harvest right away since we had the 4 mana total. We used the first 3 here and the 2 gems to play the Necromantic. It left us with 1 and still a yellow gem to play the Foul Harvest. So now we still have 3 more mana left over. Oops. So we decided to use a Volition because Cruel Tech is at 21 right now, and we are at 11. So the race has actually started now. We have a guy here blocking in the middle, and we have already started our attacking happening over here on the right. We're attacking for 8, and Cruel Tech is attacking for 3. So we've essentially enabled the race to start. We've enabled the race to start get to be in our favor at this point. We pass back to Cruel Tech. Okay, so he uses Lamia's Kiss to give his guy Drain. So he's going to attack for 4. We're back down to 7, and now he's at 17. So important here to note, before we go too far, we used our hero power to be able to deal 2 damage because Cruel Tech had more health than us. Is there any? From that point, we then attacked with Sapo, and actually from here we drew the Volition. So we got the second Volition off of the Divination 2 to be able to attack for lethal, and there you have it. A nice game there between me and Cruel Tech, showing off their replay feature and showing off a little bit of the deck. That was pretty fun. One thing to note is it looks like things do go pretty quick here for the future. We might have to try to slow things down to see if we can exactly see what happens, but things look pretty good there. I think that I played things pretty well against Cruel Tech. The Necromantic right off the top there in the Foul Harvest turn was really the key there. But let's take another look at another one of the games. All right, this is a game that we had against Lucky Lucker, and I'm actually going to let this one play through in its entirety, so we can actually just watch the full game and action, and we can watch the deck. Okay, so Grinning kolobok coming down for Lucky Lucker. Going to use the power here. Once again, on the draw, it's going to be a 0 cost power, which is going to allow me to drop iku-turso into the discard. Going to burn a Grinning kolobok. Need some more green gems. Lucky Lucker, nothing on turn 2, just going to be shifting around his kolobok. Going to decide once again to use the hero power, sculpt the hand a bit more, picking up a maze. Okay, Lucky Lucker's turn is going to be an Ifrit, 4/4 coming down with a Divination 3. Detained deported the pickup. So we've got the engine with Born Again going with the power. Born Again going down. Maze going to be the drop. Again, full on the right-hand side. We don't really need a speed bump at the moment. We kind of just need to draw some more cards, so we'll put Maze far away from everything else happening. A Naked Necromantic coming down for Lucker all the way to the right-hand side. Is there any way I can make this slower? No. Alright, so we're going to draw a card from the Maze. It's going to be a Chort Stag. Detained deported. Alright, so we're picking up a Misanthropia here. Alright, so now we're going to start setting up some speed bumps. I actually have to pause this so we can catch up on what has happened here. So I'm setting up for a turn next turn with Misanthropia here. I do have the 2 Misanthropias and plenty of cards to be able to burn for next turn. But we see that Lucky Lucker has a lot of cards here committed to the board, and we're gonna want a Misanthropia next turn, so that's why we set up the Born Again over here to get some damage, hopefully, on the Ifrit. Okay, so I'm gonna move over, take out the maze, attack for 2, and not gonna commit anything more to the board, so we will just go ahead, burn a Foul Harvest, use one of our Misanthropias. We've actually got the second one, so we've got the backup strats as well, as if Lucky Lucker says, okay, well, we've got the Misanthropia out of the way, now we can just, commit some nice things here to the board. But he is going to go with just a Scion to start. And we've got a pretty nifty little mythic of our own. So Leah going to come down, give Blight 1 to the Scion of Pride. Ooh, here comes Kushiel down for Lucky Lucker. So it is a mythic stare down currently. We're going to give Blight 1 to the Kushiel. Going to go ahead and play the Chort Stag down in front of the Scion. We're going to pick back up that iku-turso that we ditched earlier. We're pretty much off the Necromantic plan. We've got a lot of the mana that we do need at this point to play any of the minions that we draw. So let's go ahead and pause things when it gets to my turn again here. So we've got a situation where we could play this iku-turso to potentially try to slow things down on this Kushiel. Misanthropia is a consideration. These volitions are probably going to be the way that we win the game at this point. So we're just trying to navigate to a point where we could potentially use this iku-turso and try to get a couple of attacks out of him. So raid the tombs. We don't really care about what is in our graveyard anymore at this point, so we're just going to draw some more cards, get some more resources. Ooh, Foul Harvest with the combination of the Necromantic is pretty sweet. Alright, Necromantic coming down. Foul Harvest, get some more mana. Chort Stag coming back. Get the Necromantic. Volition on the Chort Stag. +3. And the Volition here. Hold on. Okay, we gotta back this up. We gotta back this up. We gotta back this up. Because I totally forgot that this happened. Okay, so let's let things happen again. So we picked up the second Volition. So here was the Misanthropia turn. Okay, so we set things up. We said Misanthropia. Okay, so let's go back. Let's back things up here all the way through back to the Scion of Pride turn. Okay, so Scion came down for Lucky Lucker. So here's the Necromantic that we picked up for the first time. So that was the point where we started to get the Zolea plan down. Okay, I wonder if I could have started to do this a little sooner, but so the plan ended up being, so if you see here, let's take a look at the Boneyard. When we drew the Raid of Tombs, so this is what our Boneyard looked like. We had the iku-turso that we picked up when we played Chort Stag, so our Boneyard was then only the one minion in there was Maze of Iyatiku, which we then got rid of with the Raid the Tombs. So when our Chort Stag died, it became the bottom minion. So keep an eye on that. So we pick up the played minions. So Chort Stag comes down to pick up the iku-turso. So we've got the Turso now. And again, our only two cards are the Misanthropia and Maze of Iyatiku. So now the Chort Stag is going to die. So when we raid the tombs next turn, this is going to be our bottom minion. Okay, so here comes the raid. So here's the raid the tombs turn. So when we raid the tombs, we are going to draw 2. Not going to matter too much. Actually, I guess the Foul Harvest is pretty important. But Zolea's ability as well coming into play here with giving another minion +3/+0. Didn't actually talk about this too much in the video with the sort of one turn reach turn kills here that we have. So Zolea is actually going to use her 2 energy ability to give the Chort Stag that we get +3/+0. So let's kind of do this piece by piece here. We'll burn Necromantic number 1. We're going to play the first one. So that's going to leave us with 3 Magicka. 3 Magicka. So that's going to leave us with 3 mana. Foul Harvest is going to not only get the Chort Stag back into play, but also give us 5 mana in total. And we still have enough gems here to play the Volition for the first time to have it attack, and then the Volition the second time to attack. So there's Volition number 1. Give it +3/+0. Attack. Volition number 2. Bada bing, bada boom. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed some gameplay and some replay functionality. We'll see you next time, guys, and yeah, we'll see you.